As a quick reminder, don't forget, subscribe to restrictedrepublic.com. That's where I share uncensored, unrestricted content. And right now, Twitter is on a rampage banning profiles. They just blocked Zero Hedge from talking about the coronavirus and James O'Keefe from sharing information on the Bernie Sanders campaign managers who actually spoke about violence against conservatives. So technically, according to Twitter, it's okay to speak about violence against conservatives, but it's not okay for conservatives to point that out. That is why we have a major loss of freedom in our society. You know, this is also why we had so many problems at the State of the Union address with the Democrats, because the Democrats care not about the American people, about our freedoms, or about our rights, or even about the Constitution. All they care about is themselves and the rise of globalism and communism here in the United States of America, and they do it under the name of socialism. You see, that's what they do. Even before Trump's State of the Union address, an address to the American people, it should be about us and what's going on and his update to the American people, but instead, the Democrats said, we hate the president so much, we have a political bias against President Trump, that 10 of them actually didn't even attend the State of the Union address. Take a look at this article here, WUSA9.com. At least 10 Democrats boycott President Trump's State of the Union. All those Democrats include AOC, Al Green, Anaya Presley, Maxine Waters, of course, Steve Cohen, Bernie Thompson, Bobby Rush, Earl Blumenauer, Hank Johnson, and Frederica Wilson. You see, these Democrats are irate that President Trump isn't going to be impeached, that he's going to be acquitted. And now they're mad that they didn't get their way with the president. So as a blunt show of protest, call it boycott, it's a political bias, let's call it what it is. 10 Democrats said, I ain't attending the State of the Union address. You see, they don't care about anyone but their policy and their way. And I personally believe those in the Democratic Party are attempting to ignite race wars here in the U.S., along with civil wars here in the U.S., especially with behavior like what they did at the State of the Union address. And I'm going to point some of the stuff out that Miss Pelosi did, because it's not what she said, it's what the woman didn't do. And she didn't do a lot, not just her, but many of her Democratic counterparts. Let's start first with the opening of the State of the Union, where President Trump hands off the State of the Union papers to both Pelosi and Pence. Take a look. Here's the thing. Be it that President Trump snubbed Nancy Pelosi or didn't see it, I don't know, because he didn't shake Mike Pence's hand either. He didn't shake either. But either way, I think he would have had every single right to snub the woman. Because here's the thing. She encouraged many in the Democratic Party to skip the union, not to mention the white that they wear in protest to the president, because it really isn't about women's rights like they claim, because they didn't even stand or clap for the women right statements, right? But hey, she has been pushing this impeachment and pushing tensions, making faces at the president all through the entire speech. So that's my stance. But what happened during the entire speech? Well, after that little event, Nancy Pelosi didn't clap or basically stand for pretty much 90% of it. Here's a small clip just showing an example of what her and the Democrats did. Take a look.
And very incredibly, the average unemployment rate under my administration is lower than any administration in the history of our country. Yeah. The unemployment rate for African Americans, Hispanic Americans, and Asian Americans has reached the lowest levels in history. African American youth unemployment has reached an all-time low. African American poverty has declined to the lowest rate ever recorded. The unemployment rate for women reached the lowest level in almost 70 years, and last year women filled 72% of all new jobs added.
All the Democrats sitting snub in their seats, as you can see in the back end of that, not clapping, not smiling, not saying anything in regards to anything that the president had to say. You see, the president brought up things that they can agree on, like jobs. There's been a job increase. There's been unemployment that's gone down in both the African American and Hispanic communities, and not one word, not one clap from Pelosi or the Democrats. You see, these are things that we should be able to at least agree on, and other things they didn't clap for or Pelosi didn't. How about a 4-year-old girl that President Trump brought to the forefront? Not one clap, not one iota from Nancy Pelosi. And I could take you through the whole thing, but I'm sure most of you watched it. But literally what you just saw is what they did the entire thing. And here's some of the things that she didn't clap or stand for. Religious freedom, not one stand. Economic success here in the U.S., not a single word, stand, emotion, just a smug face. Or how about companies being brought back to the U.S.? You see, she won't stand for that, and she won't support that because she's a globalist. And of course not the Second Amendment. We expected that one, right? Job increases, support for America, disabled Americans, not one clap, not one stand. Healthcare, women's rights. President Trump talked about how there was a 72% increase in women having jobs. But yet the white-wearing women didn't even stand for that. It's not what she said, it's what she didn't do. It's what they didn't do. And it's a direct slap in the American people's face, whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, an independent, or whatever side of the fence you land on. This was a slap to you. But thankfully, there was at least one Democrat that I saw. I think there was others, but one here, at least in my state of Arizona, who didn't give in to the white-wearing crap. Take a look at azcentral.com. Senator Kristen Sinema's blue dress stands out in a sea of white at the State of Union address. Now, I didn't vote for Kristen Sinema, but I am extremely proud of what she did to make herself different from the chaos of the Democratic Party. And attempting to usher in chaos to the United States of America. At least she stood against it, and for that, I support her 100% in that area. But you know what? Some of the other things that really disgusted me is what happened with Rush Limbaugh. The President of the United States gave the Medal of Honor for Freedom to Rush Limbaugh, who has cancer, is dying, right? And he talked about that, and Nancy Pelosi didn't stand for a dying man, basically. Not even the Democrats, but hey. You see, Rush Limbaugh put his butt on the line for many years, bringing the truth of what's really going on with the Democratic Party. So of course, they don't stand or have any words about him. Why? Because they have a political bias against the man. Why? Because he exposed their corruption. Why? Because Democrats don't care one iota about our freedom of speech. This is, again, why I am on restrictedrepublic.com. And I can't emphasize that enough. But one last thing happened at the State of the Union address I think you should be aware of. And that is this. Nancy Pelosi put the icing on the cake, so to speak, and made her stance very clear that she hates America. Take a look at what happened at the very end of the State of the Union address.
And my fellow Americans, the best is yet to come. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you very much.
Talk about a low blow. President Trump ends it with God bless America. And as he says, God bless America, she takes his speech and starts shredding it to pieces. Piece after piece after piece. This sounds more like a woman who is ticked off about not getting her way with the impeachment, about not getting President Trump out of office, about Hillary Clinton not being the candidate, than someone who really gives a care about the American people. She's a globalist through and through, and I think if any clip proves that, that does. Anyhow, wanted to bring you the latest on all of that. Please don't forget to check out my partner at noblegoldinvestments.com. If you guys have not converted your 401k into something backed by gold, silver, or precious metals, today is the day to do that, because you never know what tomorrow holds, especially in the economy. So make sure you give them a call, let them know Lisa Haven sent you, and get your 401 converted today before it's too late. Anyhow, thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.